Welcome back. I want to thank all of our viewers for joining us again, and I want to thank our City Administrator, Paul Jerome, for being here for another video segment.
Thank you, Mayor. Good to be here.
Yeah, so always a lot of things going on in the city, and you know, a lot of positive things, but there's always challenges too, right?
Always.
So I know our viewers are interested in those things and how they affect them, and certainly over the past year or so, perhaps longer, there's always a lot of discussion about water. And water is touched upon in many ways. I mean, there's, of course, water sources, and there's metering of water and billing of water and things like that. I know that's been a topic of discussion among some of our residents lately. Would you be willing to speak to that for us?
Yes, yes, I've heard that too. I think it was from you. So yeah, we actually have had some issues with being able to read our meters lately. One of the things that we have in our city is a smart reading system. So attached to every meter, the lid that's over the can that the meter sits in has a little black module on it. It's called a smart point. It actually transmits the read for that meter. And we can't get those in the abundance that we need. So that's causing an issue.
So like many things, there are supply chain issues that are holding up both new and replacement equipment parts to keep the system up to speed and functioning the way it was intended to.
Right. Yeah, when you have a water can that's got nice, it's got water going through it, it's got soil all around it, you have introduced wires into that, and those short out over time. And so they have to be replaced on existing homes. But yes, with our growth, we still need additional ones for all the new growth too. So when those modules go out, if we don't have enough on hand because we can't get them because of supply chain issues, it causes a problem because we don't have the staff to be able to go out and manually read all those meters when those fail. So
what does the city do in that case? Because you have to do something, right?
We do. So when that happens and we're not able to go out, we actually estimate. And we know approximately an average of indoor usage and outdoor usage, depending on the time of year. So we'll use that average to try to average those usages out until we can get out and take a read. What happens though is if that actual usage is outside of that average, then we do have to catch up. And sometimes that results in a higher bill than usual because we find that, we underestimated the usage that home experienced, but we still have to bill it out. We have a responsibility to do that. We have a report to file with the state on all the water that's used in the city.
So the intent is to get by meanwhile and make adjustments as soon as possible, whether those adjustments are up or down, but make it good in the long run and continue to move forward.
Right. And until the supply chain issues are corrected, which is beyond our ability to affect positively, obviously, that could result in additional staff that we have to hire. And that's, hard to swallow when it's not our fault that there's a supply chain issue that we're facing, but then we have to incur additional expense to be able to address the issues that supply chain issue is causing us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you want that information to be as accurate as possible because it's billing that's going out, and we have to get it done one way or another.
Right.
And unfortunately, yeah, it may come down to hiring additional personnel, which are going to increase costs, etc. But you do what you can.
Exactly.
Okay. So how about on the economic development front? We're seeing new retail businesses and things in the works. Would you care to speak on that?
Yeah, just recently we had another car wash open, Tag and Go, near the top of Ranches Parkway near Corey Wright Highway. O'Reilly's opened near the Dollar Tree. Wendy's just opened here in the city center. So we see continued interest from a retail perspective in the city as well as our past economic development interests that we've had with, like Facebook and Tyson and things like that. Mm-hmm. So we see it's becoming more steady as our population is getting to that point where we can sustain a lot of this retail ourselves.
Will we continue to see fast food? Is that what we're looking at?
I hope so. Yeah, no, we will. When you deal with retail and economic development in general, we've always been told that a lot of these chain restaurants, they have the resources that they know where they need to go before we know where they need to go. Now, it doesn't mean that they know where they need to go before we want them to be here, but they do keep an eye on these things. We are working with some other contractors to try to help get the word out, though, for those that may not be aware of Eagle Mountain's growth, so that we can kind of paint that picture and create that interest. But there's only so much we can do on that end. But I think that we're going to continue to see fast food and other service type retail outlets come to our city, because the ones that are here they're getting patronized, so they're getting business. Our residents, appreciate those conveniences, and we know that. And so those retailers will keep that in mind.
Yes, and in addition to that, of course, there is increased attention by other brands, perhaps, that might be more favorable to the likings of our residents. That are the interest is there, so we'll see where that goes.
Right. Yeah. We hear things, and until we know that they purchased land, we try to keep that to ourselves for the time being, but we are hearing things. We are hearing interest from major brands, so that's good.
Okay, very good. We'll look forward to more announcements as time goes on.
For sure.
What else might our residents be interested in that we can
I think
share?
everyone's always interested in roads.
Yeah.
I think the residents near the Brandon Park area, Sage Park, I think, is the subdivision across the street near Eagle Mountain Boulevard, are probably going to be very happy once that project's done and it's nearing completion. So that project was to widen from the existing 2 lanes to 4 lanes, so 2 in each direction on Eagle Mountain Boulevard, and that's coming to an end. So we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. That should be done probably mid-November and open fully by then.
So another road construction season coming to a close, and then we'll prepare for next year's season.
Yes.
Because there is new funding available that will help in that regard. Would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, so we actually, for this budget year, earmarked money for a lobbyist. We want to be able to get the word out in our own state about where we are from a population standpoint. And a lot of times the lawmakers on the Hill, they're not aware unless they come here and see for themselves what's going on. So we want to be able to communicate that. And so far the response we've gotten has been very positive. Our lobbyist that we hired was able to secure $4 million in additional road funding for us that at the beginning of the year, we had no idea that we were going to get. So that's a very big positive for us, especially when you alluded to other projects next year. We've still got Old Airport Road to get up to SR 73, and we've got Mid Valley Road to get all the way through to Eagle Mountain Boulevard to connect that between Pony Express Parkway and Eagle Mountain Boulevard. So that $4 million will make a big difference on making sure we can see those through to the end.
Yes, and in addition to that, as we're sending more traffic with more options to get to 73, we can look forward to some improvements along 73 as well. Not to a freeway level yet, but certainly improvements to make it safer and make it flow better. Yes. One of those things is the deer crossing is underway to be improved, that monitoring equipment, so that when those lights are flashing out there are animals out there. Is there anything else that we can mention right now as far as 73 traffic lights, things like that?
Yeah, so UDOT continues to analyze for traffic light purposes, so that's something that will continue to happen along SR 73. They want to make sure that our residents are able to access SR 73 safely and that traffic flows responsibly through there. So there will be additional traffic lights will be coming via UDOT along SR 73 in Eagle Mountain.
Very good. All right, well, thank you for being with us, Paul, and sharing those updates.
Yeah.
And thank you to our viewers for joining us again. It's really important to us to be able to have these opportunities to bring you these updates. And please feel free, if you have questions or there are topics that you would like to see us address, please let us know. And with that, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.